Women, for the most part, produce the majority of the world's underpaid. This coincided with an increase in women in the workplace.
All of the bigots, that's me apparently, currently jumping on the transphobic shuttle to Ding Dong Station.
I want to jump into a Piers Morgan panel debating feminism. I don't know if we've ever formally discussed this topic throughout like an entire video on the channel, but as we discuss more social issues post-election with more time to do so, thought why not? So if you can, leave us a like, it boosts the video into the algorithm, it helps us grow, and let's hop right into the discussion.
I do think that your historical understanding of feminism is extremely skewed. The idea that somehow we've only created a two-income household because feminism has tried to destroy the world is historically inaccurate, in large part. Well, firstly, you're also talking about feminism from your very, and when I say limited, I'm not trying to insult you, but the limited perspective of feminism in America and the understanding of the economy in America. It's not taking into account the global reality of the fact that women have always worked, women still continue to work. Women, for the most part, produce the majority of the world's underpaid, if drastically underpaid labor. When you talk about a two-income household being somehow instituted by feminism, you're failing to take into account that even in America, the glamorization of this golden age of marriage in the 1950s to the early 1960s, which the marriage historian Stephanie Coots calls the long decade. This coincided with an increase in women in the workplace.
It's insane to me that in 2025 we even have to have these conversations, but unfortunately a lot of religious zealots and hardcore conservatives do truly think that women should have less social and civic rights, in that being that they shouldn't work, they shouldn't vote, they should rather be homemakers who are completely subservient and reliant on their husbands. This has no basis in being for the betterment of women or the economy for that matter, as she points out, pretty clearly there. But you see in other data that closing the gender gap leads to more economic gains than similar increases in male-only workers. Boards and workplaces with more diversity have been found to be more profitable and efficient based on most data. The only reason to hold this position literally is having a religious patriarchal view that boils down to women being completely subservient to their husbands. Because any basis you could build for, women should be home and it's better for the family and this, well, okay, then why couldn't men just do it? Why would we require it to be women?
All of the bigots, that's me apparently, currently jumping on the transphobic shuttle to Ding Dong Station. Morgan wants you to believe this is about fairness and equality, specifically fairness and equality in women's sports. That was exactly what it was about. And the problem is, Clementine, with all due respect to you, the reality is...
I doubt it. I doubt it's coming with due respect.
I'll treat you with perfect respect, but your inability to just simply state what a woman actually is, particularly given 2 weeks ago in the UK, the Supreme Court made it very clear that a woman is a biological female. That's it. It's a scientific fact. The fact that you can't answer that is part of the problem.
Law is a social construct. Definitionally, a legal ruling could never make something a scientific fact, but I do hate that conservatives pretend something with such nuance is a simple question. I mean, a woman is a social construct, and it is an ever-evolving concept because of that. It's a description of a thing in society. Things that only exist in society also can't be scientific definitionally, and because it is contingent on society, particularly the roles, perspectives, expectations, and judgments it places on both men and women, is exactly why it is always evolving. Think of it like the word cool, right? And the concept of how cool is used. The definition of cool actually pertains to temperature. But in our society, we understand that it means like the popular kid, essentially. But even that means something different now than it did 50 years ago. If you were cool then, you're probably a weirdo now, right? Like you got the leather jackets and stuff that was cool then. Now it's like the sports guy or the tech gamer bros. It's always different and evolving, and it's the same with the concept of gender.
I don't understand this compulsion, especially in the Trump administration, but on the right in general, where we're supposed to be conservatives, where we are pushing mothers to work. Trump has been a huge proponent of hiring women, getting women back to work as soon as possible after having the baby. And I think this is a huge mistake because, number one, what are we conserving? If we're not conserving the traditional family and traditional gender roles and motherhood in the middle of a birth rate crisis, what are we conserving as conservatives? Just like lower taxes? I mean, this should be a core issue for us on the right to say, no, motherhood is not a part-time gig that you do on the side. You don't ship your baby off to daycare where they're spending 3 times as much time with a low-wage daycare worker as they are with mom while you go and do your career. There's plenty of life to live after raising kids. I think after you've done that, if you want to venture out and do a few more things, once you have the empty nest, I think that's okay.
It's funny because I can agree with the crux of the claim that it would be better for society if structured in a way that one or both parents could be much more heavily involved at home rather than having to work to afford to live. I would disagree that it has to be the woman, but it doesn't make any sense whatsoever that her conservative solution to this is to remove women from the workforce entirely, which is going to hurt business and GDP, cause prices to go up, and then force households to survive on one income while not raising wages to make it easier to do so. And it's just going to be impossible. The solution is clearly you make it more easy to afford a family, make wages higher, make education cheaper so better jobs are more available to more people, bring down housing costs, make food more accessible. Energy shouldn't make up such a large portion of what people spend their income on. This is none of which what Republicans want to do, which shows how much they really care about this issue, or really just women in general.